Chloe, this time it's a story like a Gothic thriller. A grand mansion, a bizarre fortune teller, and the tragedy of three women trapped behind iron bars. The story begins on a hot summer night in August 1981 at a police station. A veteran detective, Chief Choi Dong-sik, an alias, was on night duty when the phone rang. It was a patrolman from a local police box. Like a frantic voice. "Chief, you need to get over here. I think we have a dead body." Chief Choi took two detectives and rushed to the scene. It was a huge mansion on a quiet hill on the outskirts of the city. But something was weird. The entire house, from the main gate to every single window, was covered in thick iron bars. It looked more like a fortress or a prison. The moment Chief Choi forced the door open, he was hit by the smell of strong incense, old wood, and something metallic. Blood. As he walked down the corridor, he saw dark red, dried bloodstains on the floor. The trail led to a room at the end of the hall, the piano room. When Chief Choi carefully opened the door, he saw a sight he would never forget for the rest of his life. Two women were tangled together on the floor in a horrific state. Both had been brutally struck on the head multiple times with a blunt object. The bodies had already begun to decompose, and the stench was overwhelming. But that wasn't the end of it. On the staircase leading to the second floor, he noticed a set of bloody slipper prints, as if someone had stepped in the pool of blood and walked upstairs. Chief Choi had a gut feeling. There's someone else up there. He followed the slipper prints to a room at the very end of the hall. He opened the door. In the middle of the dark room, on a bed, he saw a small shape under a blanket. When he pulled it back, he couldn't speak. A little girl, no older than 6, was lying there, dead, looking as if she were peacefully asleep. The bodies on the first floor were the owner of the house, a 71-year-old woman known as a powerful fortune teller, Yoon Bo-hee, an alias, and her 19-year-old housekeeper, Kang So-hee, an alias. The child upstairs was Ms. Yoon's adopted daughter, an alias. The murder weapon was a hammer found at the scene, and it belonged to the house. There were no signs of forced entry. The killer was clearly someone they knew, someone they let inside. 3 suspects were on the initial list, but the investigation quickly zeroed in on one. The victim's niece-in-law, Go Mi-son, an alias. She was the sole heir to Ms. Yoon's massive fortune. The police brought her in for questioning, and her alibi changed 12 times. First she was home, then she was with friends, then she was at a club meeting. After intense pressure, she finally broke. In a desperate whisper, I did it. It seemed like the case was closed. They even found Ms. Yoon's expensive jewelry hidden in a pillow at Gomi-san's house. The confession, the physical evidence, everything was perfect. She was arrested for robbery and murder. But Chloe, the real twist begins in the courtroom. On the first day of her trial, a frail Go-mi-san appeared, barely able to stand. She looked at the judge and cried out with a trembling voice, "Your Honor, I am innocent. I didn't kill anyone." She then revealed a horrifying story of being taken to a hotel, not the police station, where she was tortured for days, no sleep, doused with water, beaten. She claimed the police told her if she just confessed to their story, she'd only be in jail for a few months. The courtroom exploded. The trial was no longer just about murder. It was about police torture and a massive conspiracy. Gomi-san's lawyers began to dismantle the police's case. The bloody glove print at the scene was from a left hand, but Gomi-san was right-handed. Her description of how she moved the bodies didn't match the crime scene at all. And then, the final bombshell. A young detective took the witness stand and with a trembling voice made a declaration of conscience. The jewelry found at Gomi-san's house was a gift. The victim, Ms. Yoon, had given it to her for safekeeping, and his superior officer had ordered him to falsify the report to make it look like she stole it. In the end, the court ruled that a forced confession and fabricated evidence were invalid. Gomi-san was found not guilty. She was freed after 303 days, but her life was ruined. Her body was broken from the torture, and her family was branded as the family of a murderer. So, Chloe, here's the real question. If she wasn't the killer, who was the real killer who brutally killed 3 women in that house of iron bars? While the police were busy framing an innocent woman, the real killer simply walked away into the darkness forever. And a few years later, that creepy mansion burned to the ground in a mysterious fire, erasing all the secrets with it. It's a truly chilling and sad story, isn't it?